and welcome to KnightHunter Books. Today we're going to do a TBR for our holiday, which we're not actually going on for a few weeks, but seeing as I've already decided what I'm reading, then we figured we might as well do a video. This covers a combination of books from our physical TBRs, which we've been meaning to get to, and also an ebook haul, seeing as I got some Kobo vouchers for my birthday. And
you can't use them on Kobo devices. Surprise!
Yeah, so I bought a Kobo device and a new e-reader just so that I didn't have to carry around so many books, and then I bought a whole load of new things to read.
My first one is Arabella of Mars by David D. Levine, which honestly promises to be just a quite good fun, light-hearted romp.
I quite like this publishing size for taking on holiday as well. It seems quite light for the number of pages.
Yes. I'm prone to taking hardbacks on holiday, as we'll see later. It's a steampunk adventure novel, though it's a slightly different steampunk in that interplanetary travel is possible, and Arabella is trying to get back to Mars by stowing away with pirates. Space pirates.
First one I'm thinking of taking is the same format style. This is Who Fears Death by Nnedi Okorafor, which is a post-apocalyptic African story set in the same world as the Book of Phoenix, which we read last year. So I've been meaning to get to this for a while.
My next one is A City Dreaming by Daniel Polansky, and this is a free arc we picked up at Nine Worlds, urban fantasy set in New York. Again, looks like quite good light fun.
Oh, I thought it looked dark. We'll see which one of us is right. I'm also planning to take the Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver, which will be my kind of literary book. This is very dense. This is 600 or so pages, I think. So this is my kind of plain read for when they tell you to turn off all devices.
We're not going on that many planes.
We're going on 8.
Yeah, no, but 15 minutes a flight.
I managed to get through 100 Years of Solitude that way. And this is a family story set in the Congo.
My next one is Princess of Blood by Tom Lloyd, which is the second in a series.
And a hardback.
And a hardback, but it's a small hardback without a dust jacket, which makes it slightly better. Mm-hmm. Hey, I took 7 Eves to Crete. This is a flintlock fantasy series, I think is the term. Fantasy with guns.
Oh, okay.
Which follows a mercenary company as things go steadily more and more wrong. Nice, light, fun. There's definitely a theme with my books, I think.
And then we move on to the ebooks. I ran out of physical things. One book I bought was Winter, which is the 4th, I think, or 5th, depending on how you count the novellas, of the Cinder series by Marissa Meyer. And this is a book I've been putting off, despite it being the last in the series, because it's over 800 pages. And I haven't wanted to buy it physically because I know I'll just never get to it. So I'm hoping as an ebook I'll whiz through it. It's fun, YA, I'd say mostly sci-fi.
My next one is Raven Stratagem by Yoon, another second in a series, which we've spoken about quite a lot on the channel already, so excited to get forward to this, which I suspect this is going to be less light, but probably equally fast-paced, as the protagonist from the first book kicks their rebellion into high gear.
Another book in a series, which I picked up on as an ebook, is Daughter of Eden, which is the 3rd in the Dark Eden series by Beckett. This is a sci-fi series set on a planet which is entirely dark, and it follows a small community in the first book, but as we progress through the series the community gets bigger and quite a lot of time passes, so I'm quite interested to see where this one picks up.
My final physical book, guess how heavy my case is going to be, is The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin, the much-awaited 3rd volume in the Broken Earth trilogy. Given the previous 2 won Hugos and I really enjoyed them, it'd be interesting to see how this goes. This is a world ripped apart by intense geological forces, which creates a truly horrific culture that is deeply pragmatic. That is probably my least light and fluffy book.
And then mostly the rest of what we picked up were actually some Tor.com novellas, just because we've realised that they're quite a bit cheaper to pick up as ebook. So except for series we've already started buying physically, we're probably going to start switching to ebooks. So the first of mine is Witches of Lychford by Cornell, which has a kind of typical creepy supernatural cover, but I mainly became interested in it when I realised it was about witches trying to stop a supermarket being built in England, which just seemed very mundane for a supernatural book. So I'm very intrigued by that juxtaposition that they've got going on.
As you said, it sounds like a Doctor Who episode.
Yes, which I think he has written Doctor Who episodes, so yes.
My next book is something that I have seen in physical form, but it was enormous and printed on toilet paper.
Not literally.
It is The Book Burners, which is produced in serial format initially by a group of authors, including Max Gladstone, and this follows a squad of enforcers backed by the Vatican who find and destroy magical tomes before they harm people. Sounds quite good fun.
Another ebook I picked up was The Dream Quest of Vellitt by Jemisin, which is an author I've actually wanted to read for a long time. I think this novella draws on quite a lot of Lovecraftian ideas, which I don't really know much about Lovecraft at all, but having wanted to read the author, and also it does just sound like an intriguing world.
My next one, and in fact last one, is The Black Tides of Heaven by Jang, which is again a novella which follows a pair of supernatural twins through what sounds like a start of a revolution in an Asian-influenced fantasy universe. And there's a contemporaneous novella set in the same world.
Yeah, I think they're both standalones.
And published at the same time. The Philip Pullman phrase, I wonder if that's going to take off, is equals rather than sequel or prequel.
Yeah. And the very last ebook that we got hold of for the holiday is Terracotta Bride by Zen Cho. Again, an author that I've heard good things about. You've read Sorcerer to the Crown, which you really liked.
And we've seen her on panels, and she's quite good fun, which is always a good starter.
Yeah. And this is actually a very short, I think maybe novelette, which is set in Chinese hell, but sounds like it also draws upon kind of science fiction ideas and has cyborgs and fantasy elements, and sounds like a really fun mishmash.
I should stress we're going away for 3 weeks, so if it sounds like a lot of books, that's because it is.
Yes, and we want choice, and that's the plus side of having an e-reader.
And a giant stack of books.
I don't think I'd realised before we showed them up quite how many were sequels, but I quite like the idea of that. So good chance to get away and catch up on some series.
I reserve the right to change my TBR up until we close the case.
So let us know how you pick your holiday TBRs, or if there's any of these that you've read already. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon.